Is it only SB 916?
That's right, he has another bill on consent. SB 933.
So I want this file item one.
How you doing? Hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Hey.
File item number 7.
I know, it's crazy.
Okay, great, no problem. You may proceed, Senator.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair and members. And I should just say to the members, this is the hottest ticket in town in Sacramento. There's a long line to get in. It's like Hamilton tickets. So you should congratulate yourselves on a robust and exciting agenda. So I'm very pleased to present SB 916, which reestablishes single subject credentials in theater and dance in our schools. So under this proposal, new teachers entering the profession will no longer be required to earn a credential in an unrelated subject if they want to teach one of these two required subjects. Here to testify on the importance of this bill are Don Harris and Dennis Mangers. Don is the chair of the California Arts Council and for the past 9 years has served as director of Governor Brown's Oakland School for the Arts. Recently, he was tapped by San Francisco Unified to be the executive director of creativity in the arts, serving the entire school district. And additionally, Dennis here has a long history in Sacramento as an assembly member, legislative advocate, and political advisor, and he currently serves as a trustee for the California State University at Long Beach. So let's start with you, Don.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Don Harris, and I'm currently, for the next week, the executive director of the Oakland School for the Arts, which is Jerry Brown's school. I'll be moving over to San Francisco Unified after that. I also chair the California Arts Council. As a young teacher, I had an English credential. I taught drama. I have a master's degree in drama, but was not really prepared through that English credential to fully exercise all that I could do to teach students the very specific art of drama, which, although has literature associated with it, and many of the English teachers do know about theatrical literature, it's different than actually teaching the active subject of drama. And with the arts having such momentum these days, for people to be on their feet, for students with literacy issues and other issues to have that very special kind of training that comes from specific drama teaching training, drama education, I think is very important. It also sends a message to the arts community that we're really taking seriously the specificity of their subject area, the depth of it, the rigor, and that the students are getting the top education they can, rather than a very qualified English teacher a little bit out of his or her league, perhaps with the specifics of what we're trying to accomplish. So very much in favor of this bill, very happy to see it back up. I do believe about 30 years ago we did have those credentials. Am I right on the dates there? Yeah. About 30 years ago, for whatever reason they were discontinued. We're looking to see them resuscitated. And as a former drama teacher, I did have a master's in drama, but I taught under my English credential and I could have been even better prepared. So thank you.
Thank you. Next witness.
Thank you. Mr. Chair and members, before I was elected to this august body, I was a teacher, elementary teacher and school principal for many years. And this is very personal to me, and that's why I came here before you today. I started teaching first grade and kindergarten in 1964. And being a professional musician myself, as I approached teaching, I observed what happens when you put 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-olds in a room with music. They almost immediately start trying to sing along or move to that music. As it happens, since I was the only one with any professional background in these fields, the other teachers in school asked me to take on all of their arts instruction, and they would handle my math or PE or whatever. But it broke my heart a few years later when I became an elementary school principal of schools that were predominantly African American, later Latino, and ultimately an upper middle class school in Fountain Valley, to see what happens when those youngsters develop this interest and this passion. They start singing and moving and wanting to act out, but there's nobody there appropriately trained to help them to develop both the lifelong love of the arts, as most of us have, but more importantly, to pick out those ones that have that passion, those skills that you can almost sense the minute you see them, and then have the skilled hands prepared to train them for a life that is nourished by the arts, especially if you find you have that passion and ability to get out there and sing and dance and act and thrill the rest of us when you're doing it. So what a shame for us to be one of only 2 states in America that does not provide these specialized credentials in dance and theater. And I represent on the Board of Governors, Long Beach State, my alma mater, where my grandson is now a student. And we have an amazing program in dance and theater, and we have a master's program in fine arts that teaches current teachers who want to come back and learn to teach dance and theater in the schools. But when they graduate, they would have to go get an English credential to teach theater or a PE credential to teach dance. Friends, it just doesn't make any sense to lose these talented people to other states, all the other states, where they would be able to teach within their area of specialization. So I urge you to support this fine bill. It's time wasted that we haven't realized this necessity. So I urge you to support this bill.
Great. Thank you. Others in support, please state your name, affiliation, and position on the bill only, please. In support.
Hi, my name is Jessie Cronenberg. I'm co-president for the California Dance Education Association. We're in strong support of the bill. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Carol Hovey. I'm president of the California Educational Theater Association, and we are in strong support of this bill.
I'm Joe Landon. I'm the executive director of the California Alliance for Arts Education. We're the sponsors of the bill, and we support it. Thank you.
Danielle Kando, Kaiser, on behalf of Common Sense Kids Action, we have awarded this bill our star rating, strong support.
A star.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members. Kathy Lynch, representing the California Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance, in strong support, as well as California Alliance for Arts Education. Thank you, Senator Allen, for carrying it.
Good afternoon. Lee Ezel, on behalf of the California Art Education Association, here in strong support.
Lynn Fox, on behalf of the California Music Educators Association, in strong support.
Martha Zaragoza Diaz, on behalf of the California Association for Bilingual Education, and we are in strong support of this bill.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. Ron Rapp, on behalf of the California Federation of Teachers, in strong support. This is a very important bill for our members. Thank you.
Enrique Roacho, on behalf of the Los Angeles Unified School District, in support.
Karen Lang, on behalf of the California Arts Advocates in the City of Santa Monica, in support. Thank you.
Kathy Rabin from the California State PTA, Parent Teachers Association, and we are in support of this bill.
Isabel Garcia, on behalf of the California Teachers Association, in strong support. Thank you.
Thank you. Any opposition? Seeing no opposition, we'll come back to the committee. Thank you for the bill, Mr. Allen. A very important topic, because I think I grew up singing in a classroom and all that stuff. Wasn't too good at it, right? But I did it. And we've kind of lost that along the way, and I think we're trying to recapture it, as Mr. Mangers has stated. And I think that's very important because it helps the mind grow, those young minds to grow into bigger minds and older minds. It helps with that creativity thing, which we have so much of in California. So thank you for the bill. Very important. And now that we're going to have a supply of those teachers, we need to make sure that we support it in the classroom too. Yes. It can't just be about drill and kill. It's got to be about the arts and everything else that makes the whole child, if you will. So thank you. And Mr. Mangers, I know Mr. McCarty and I are both Long Beach State alum as well. So thank you for being here today. And with that,
go Beach.
Exactly. That's right. Any other comments from the committee?
Move the bill.
Bill's been moved and seconded. You want to?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Raise your hand. Let's go.
Just real quickly, wanted to compliment the author on a great bill, but also wanted to compliment the witnesses. Your passion and enthusiasm is contagious. I think this is a great bill. You have an amazing school that you've built in Oakland, and best wishes to you as you move on to San Francisco.
Great. With that, may I close?
Ask for an aye vote, and really appreciate the comments.
Great close. Please call the roll.
The action is due pass to appropriations. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson?
Aye.
Olson, aye. Kim? Aye. Kim, aye. McCarty? Aye. McCarty, aye. Santiago? Thurman? Weber?
Aye.
Weber, aye.
I want to move the consent.
Second.
5-0.
Congratulations.
So far, so good. Hopefully, they'll come back to vote.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry?
Thank you. Yeah, like this time. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we can go ahead and move. Let's move the consent calendar.
It's been moved.
Oh, please call. I'm sorry. It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Yeah.
I thought we had the motion. Oh, I need to read off the motion.
Read them all.
Okay. So here we are. File item number 8, SB 911, due pass as amended to appropriations. File item number. I'm sorry, that was file item number 6 previously. File item number 6 was previously that. File item number 8, SB 933, due pass to appropriations. Move file item number 12, SB 1169, due pass to appropriations. It's been moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
O'Donnell.
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson. Aye. Olson, aye. Kim. Kim, aye. McCarty. McCarty, aye. Santiago. Thurmond. Weber.
Aye.
Weber, aye.
5-0, the bill is out. Or the consent calendar is out. We're going to now move to file item 18, SB 1435 by Senator Jackson. You may proceed when ready.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. I was having a small heart attack. I was going to have to wing this because I didn't have my file folder. I thought I could, but fortunately now I don't have to ever know because it has arrived. And so I thank you for the opportunity to present SB 1435 on healthy relationships. You know, the other day we were very honored to be able to hear His Holiness the Dalai Lama come before us and speak. And to many of us being very moved by his words and the actual simplicity of his view of life and our happiness and success. And he talked about the need for compassion and empathy and love and dignity. And I remember those words very clearly because that is in essence what this bill tries to bring about. So you were wondering where the heck I was coming from, and that's sort of the preface to my remarks. This measure would require the health framework for California's public schools to include comprehensive, age-appropriate information on the development of healthy relationships. Now, that may seem kind of silly and basic, but a couple years ago, the Senate Pro Tem and I did a bill called Yes Means Yes, so that college students would understand that there is a need for respect and understanding and compassion in interpersonal relationships. But at the time, we also discovered that we couldn't start at the college level. So last year, we did a bill that requires the teaching of healthy relationships at the high school level. And what we discovered at that point is that we really needed to start earlier than that. And that's what this bill does. It is the next step in our efforts to create greater appreciation and compassion for each other, and also to reduce sexual assault, bullying, and harassment among our youth, which frankly has become an epidemic. It builds on the Yes Means Yes law and SB 695 from last year that, again, includes in our health programs curriculum addressing sexual assault and harassment awareness and prevention. It is among high school teenagers who have dated, the statistics are shocking that over 1 in 4 teenage girls and 1 in 10 teenage boys have experienced dating violence in the last year. So we have to start at the earliest possible age because it cannot start at the high school level. It needs to start as early as possible to educate our children on healthy relationships from the elementary school and the middle school levels. In fact, I was talking to a colleague of yours today who had been to China. And in China, they talk about this from kindergarten on. In an age-appropriate way, about having respect for each other, having respect for us on the basis of gender, and so forth. And so this is something that is critically important that we do at the earliest possible stages to develop the emotional and social skills to treat each other, as the Dalai Lama said, with respect and dignity and compassion and empathy. The bill has received bipartisan support, and I would respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you. Any others in support?
Good afternoon, Chair and members. My name is Sydney Reyes, and I'm the Policy Coordinator with the California Partnership to End Domestic Violence. We are the statewide domestic violence coalition representing over 1,000 agencies, advocates, and allies. We believe that safe schools equal successful students and that all California youth deserve to live their lives free of dating abuse. Schools have a duty to provide a safe learning environment for all pupils, and they play a key role in educating teens on how to form healthy relationships and providing effective intervention when abuse occurs. When schools fail in this duty, the results can be devastating. As just one example, in 2011 in LA, a 17-year-old Southeast high school student named Cindy Santana was fatally stabbed multiple times at lunchtime on school grounds by her 18-year-old ex-boyfriend. Another student and dean were also injured when they tried to stop the attack, and dozens of other students and faculties witnessed this extremely traumatic event. Their school community has forever changed when they lost Sydney, a bright teenager described by her family as having a smile that lit up the room and a promising future ahead of her. It is imperative that schools have policies in place so that they can respond to students such as Cindy and prevent another tragic outcome. Youth experiencing dating abuse are more likely to be depressed, perform poorly academically, and engage in unhealthy behaviors, like using drugs and alcohol, as well as they are more likely to develop anorexia and bulimic eating patterns. Victims of teen dating violence are also at an increased risk for carrying a weapon to school, being threatened or injured with a weapon at school, or damaging school property. Additionally, teens in abusive relationships, either as the abuser or the victim, are at a much greater risk of continuing to experience abusive relationships as adults. We respectfully urge your aye vote.
Great. Thank you. Any others in support?
Kathy Rayburn from the California State PTA, and we totally support this bill.
Right.
Enrique Rocha with the Los Angeles Unified School District in support.
Isabel Garcia with the California Teachers Association. We appreciate the author's longstanding commitment to this issue, and we're in strong support.
Lydia Bourne representing the American Academy of Pediatrics in support.
Adam Ledmont on behalf of the ACLU of California in support.
All right, thank you. Senator, just confirm you're removing as amended the bill.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
So yes.
With that, comments from or any opposition? Any opposition? I don't. Is there any opposition? Raise your hand. There's no opposition. Okay, a lot of you are standing up. Okay. With that, we'll come back to the committee. Any comments from the committee? Ms. Kim.
Okay. Thank you, Senator, for bringing the bill forward. I have some questions regarding the information, or actually the context, that will be put into this framework. What are some of the examples that you can give me to better understand what comprehensive information for kindergarten and grades 1 through 8 grade students will be learning, and will this be taught as a classroom curriculum, or is it just information that will be sent home to be shared by parents? I'm just trying to understand what information will be included.
Well, this will be part of what they call the health framework for California public schools that exists. It's due to be revised, I believe, next year. And it will include information that I believe can also be incorporated into the curriculum, just in the basics of what I envision, and I'm not a teacher and I'm not a person that establishes this curriculum, but in teaching children how to interact with each other, for example, how to be respectful, to point out if there is a statement made, for example, about how girls are goofy, or something that has a sort of an inherent, frequently with young children, an non-understood bias, for teachers to have the tools to be able to point that out, to make sure that children in their interpersonal interactions create healthy relationships with each other and with those perhaps, for example, you have a child who is somewhat impaired, whether physically is either visually impaired, let's say, or in a chair, just to teach that respect, that one is not a lesser human being because of one's gender or because of one's circumstances, and to do it in a way that is incorporated into the curriculum, but also into relationships among the children. We have these programs already. What this will do is just make sure that we start recognizing the importance at the earliest possible ages and in the most age-appropriate way to address the problems that exist because children today, for whatever reason, seem to be lacking in that compassion and that empathy, and they get on the internet and they bully each other. And if you teach children at the earliest possible ages that this kind of behavior is not okay, that this kind of behavior hurts somebody else, the way it could hurt you if it were being done to you. As I say, I'm not an educator, but this I don't think is rocket science for the education community. It just shines a spotlight on the need and the importance of these kinds of healthy relationships when they revise their health framework for California's public schools.
So I understand much of what you just described is already in the curriculum, already stated. Right? I'm just asking for some examples, specific examples of what is age appropriate, because we're talking about age appropriate for pupils of all races, genders, sexual orientation, gender identities. I just want to make sure that if you can cite some of the examples, or are we leaving it up to individual teachers? I don't know if you're listening.
No, you're looking for some examples, okay. And my staff, being so much more adept at this than I, has some suggested responses specifically to your question. So in the Chicago schools, for example, in kindergarten, they teach about good secrets and bad secrets. Now, you don't have to tell that to a high school student and put it in the context of this is a good secret or a bad secret. Or I think of my little 3-year-old granddaughter when she doesn't get her way. Her mother says to her, Ellery, use your words. Use your words. Age appropriate, it seems to me. Teaching being smart about strangers, learning safe tips about being safe online and in the real world, being smart about strangers. In first grade, learning about respecting individuals. So students use creative drawing to show everyone is a unique individual who deserves dignity and respect. Talking about families. Students identify diverse family structures and brainstorm ways to treat families with respect. Then they talk about bullying. Students identify forms of bullying. They're taught to recognize them in an age-appropriate way for first graders, and what to do if they or a classmate is being bullied. That's an example. This is kindergarten, first grade. Second grade, they talk about gender and identity. So they have students role-playing different strategies for breaking down gender stereotypes and learning how to treat all people in the community with respect. Third grade, they have a lesson in respecting myself and others. So they learn concepts of respect, and they practice communication skills respectfully and successfully, or effectively, I should say, in that third grade age-appropriate way. Those are some examples.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Seeing no other questions, do we have a motion? Moved and seconded. You may close.
I hope those are examples. For those of you who remember the novel or the nonfiction called Reviving Ophelia, youngsters, particularly as they reach puberty, go into a whole different change of perspective in life. This will help them in the tools as they enter those years. This will help them in their interpersonal relationships, both at the earliest possible ages, and hopefully we will be able to create or see a generation of young people who have an inherent respect for each other so that we can reduce the kind of violence that we see amongst teens that were recited earlier and amongst children in general, so that we have a safer, happier world with dignity, compassion, respect, and empathy. With that, I would ask for your aye vote.
Great, thank you. We have moved. We have a motion with a second. Go ahead and call the roll. The motion is do pass as amended. Do pass as amended to appropriations.
O'Donnell.
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson.
I'm not voting.
Olson not voting. Kim. Kim not voting. McCarty. McCarty, aye. Santiago. Santiago, aye. Thurman. Weber. Weber, aye.
With 4 votes, the bill is out.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair and members.
Use your words.
Almost always too often.
Up here, I guess I should say use less words. Use fewer words. With that, Mr. Senator Mendoza. We are on Senator Mendoza. We're on file item number 10. File item number 10.
Mr. Chair, is it okay if I start off with the item number, bill number SB 1225 first, if that's okay with you? And then I have witnesses for the other one that I could bring in after I present that one. That way.
Go ahead. File item number 13. We'll proceed when ready. File item 13.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, here to present SB 1225. California is home to 300,000 teachers who work tirelessly to prepare our children every day for the ever-evolving 21st century. SB 1225 helps to address the teacher shortage in California by establishing a Teacher Bill of Rights to ensure California's teachers are provided an environment to deliver the optimum educational learning experience to our students. Specifically, this bill will establish the Bill of Rights, 10 in all, and requires the principal to post these rights in a common area of administrative offices. The teacher shortage was not caused by one single reason, but a culmination of many. A recent study found that teacher satisfaction has declined over the past years, and this was probably led by by the bad economy that we suffered just a few years ago. I know there's been some opposition from some groups, and I'm working with them right now. I hope that I will be able to satisfy their concerns. It might not be able to do it in this committee, but hopefully we'll be doing it as the bill moves along into the next committee. We hope to work with them to try to address the concerns that they brought to my attention.
Great. Thank you. Your witnesses in support.
Mr. Chair and members, Seth Bramble here on behalf of the California Teachers Association. Pleased to support Senate Bill 1225. Yes, all teachers should have a safe and healthy school environment. Absolutely. Access to basic school supplies. Input on curriculum. We're talking about manageable class sizes so you can reach your kids. What this bill truly is about is the public perception of the teaching profession. Helping kids, guiding their learning, being a part of building a better society in our future is why most of our members say that they chose to become educators. Unfortunately, during the economic downturn, we saw kind of the public perception change. It was almost less desirable to become a teacher when you look in and see a situation where folks are getting pink slips year after year after year, when you see class sizes growing, when you see school years shorting, expectations growing. It became the kind of place maybe not so desirable, and a lot of folks maybe chose looking in, maybe they wouldn't want to become a part of the teaching profession, and honestly, watching very low salaries freeze. So yes, teachers are underpaid and underappreciated, and this vehicle is really important, I think, as we're in the midst of this teacher shortage crisis, to draw folks in, to show teachers that they have a lot of value. But certainly when we give teachers the freedom and the tools to be creative, they will establish the kinds of learning environments that you and I can only dream about. We urge your support.
Thank you. Any other witnesses in support?
Ron Rapp on behalf of the California Federation of Teachers in support. This bill is very simple. It just requires that the teachers' rights are posted in a conspicuous area. Teachers, I would say most teachers don't know their rights. Those rights are buried in volumes of code. And so this bill just simplifies those rights and posts them so that teachers understand the rights that they have. Thank you.
Pat Mazzulli, I'm a high school teacher in Fontana, California, and I support this bill.
Jody Dayberry, kindergarten teacher from South Lake Tahoe, and I support this bill as well.
Any others in support? Any opposition to the bill?
Good afternoon. Laura Preston with the Association of California School Administrators. The bill, as is in front of you, we are opposed to. And we've had several meetings with Senator Mendoza, and we've come to an agreement that we're going to work this summer together on legislation to try to reform the bill from where it is now to something that we can collectively work on to provide maybe rights for the classroom, for students, as well as for our employees. So we are not removing our opposition now, but we are willing to work with them having the bill move forward. Thank you.
Carlos Machado with California School Board Association. We're in the same position of AXA, and I look forward to working with the author on amendments.
Thank you. Any other opposition?
Sarah Botches with the California Association of School Business Officials, also in the same position, willing to work with the author to ensure that we're focusing on our students. Thank you.
Michael Holsizer on behalf of the Kern County Superintendent of Schools in the same position. We are opposed to the bill, but certainly willing to work with the well-intentioned author.
Thank you. Any comments from the committee? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the author's interest in trying to address the teacher shortage. I think it's one of the major crises we're facing in the state of California. I'm a co-author of many bills on that subject matter this year. I'm struggling with how a notice in the administrative offices, the principal's office of a school, detailing the teacher's Bill of Rights, and I read the full bill. I don't disagree with any of the points in the Bill of Rights, but I'm struggling to understand how in the world posting that in the principal's office helps address the teacher shortage crisis.
Well, it's more like an awareness that they do have rights. Sometimes teachers do feel that they're not being respected. They're not given the ample time to have any kind of staff preparation or training, or they don't even have the opportunity to have the right supplies in the classroom. They have to go. So knowing that their Bill of Rights and everything that we cover here it's somewhere in our code, but yet it's hard to dictate where it's at. Now, the school board and whoever, legislators as well, are required to make sure that the classroom has all these issues addressed so that we could have a good learning environment for our students. Having them posted where teachers can actually say, wow, well, this is one of our rights is this, but I don't have this in my classroom. I don't have adequate supplies, or I don't have adequate staff training or preparation, or we don't have. It's so many issues that are out there. Sometimes, and seeing it from a teacher's perspective, there's so many issues that are being blamed on not only the teachers, but everybody. When everybody should be working together to improve the public education, you see that the principals don't have enough time to go into the classroom to work with teachers, to show them. They're master teachers, but yet they're boggled down with a bunch of paperwork that needs to be done instead of being free to be in the classroom. Teachers don't have the support that they need. So I'm just saying that this is just to clarify the rights. But then I heard the opposition. I met with them. So we want to rearrange the bill. Want to rearrange this particular piece of legislation to address everybody's need, because in reality we're here to address the students' needs. Well, make sure if you address the students' needs, that means everybody wins, whether it be the teachers, the administration, staff in general. So we want to work with them.
Okay, a couple more questions and a couple more points. I hear what you're saying, but again, that doesn't seem to have anything to do with addressing the teacher shortage crisis. It does seem to have to do with maybe arming the teachers with better information about what their rights are. I just think it's important we be honest about what the bill is achieving.
Yes.
So,
I'm sorry, I wasn't clear enough. See, many people don't want to go to the teaching profession because they don't feel that nobody wants them. They feel like it's a profession that they will not be respected in. They don't even having a Bill of Rights saying if you become a teacher, these are your rights. This is what you should be expecting.
I don't disagree, but those are already teachers. They're already teachers. So maybe posting the Bill of Rights in liberal arts education campuses on universities or something. But again, I think it's important that teachers know what their rights are, but I just don't see the connection to addressing the teacher shortage crisis. And agree, we do need to significantly raise the reputation of the profession. Couldn't agree more. So if the goal is to make sure teachers understand what their rights are, and then they have the opportunity to advocate for more support and tools or resources, whatever they may need according to those rights, wouldn't it be better, wouldn't you reach more teachers if, say, the local CTA chapter put the Bill of Rights in its newsletter every month, or hand-delivered the Bill of Rights to the teachers? I don't have a problem with posting it in the principal's office, but I find it hard to believe very many teachers are going to walk by and read their Bill of Rights in the principal's office.
In a common area, cafeteria, their own rooms, but most teachers, most new teachers within the first 5 years, they leave. So this is the Bill of Rights more to not only recruit but also retain. Many teachers don't stick around. Some are leaving early. They don't want. They want to retire as soon as they can. We're trying to, recruit and retrain and retain.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you want to add something?
Oh,
Mr. Bramble?
well, you just mentioned CTA. I mean, we do put out a lot of publications to our members about changes to the law. I'm sure this great bill is something we would highlight. So.
Excellent. My last comment would just be, I guess, for future reference. This is the last policy committee of an entire year's process, and I would think the time to work out amendments that are substantive in nature would be before the last policy committee, not when it's going to a fiscal committee, when arguably there's never another review on the policy. So I would encourage you next time around to do that before we reach the last policy hearing.
Great, and I can speak to that. Because I was going to share this. If there are significant changes, we may well have that bill back in our committee again.
Yes.
So, yeah. Great. Mr. McCarty.
Thank you. I'll certainly move the bill. Every second. Yeah. And then I'll just note that I don't think this is a panacea to our teacher shortage, recruitment, and retention issue, but I think it can't hurt. And I concur that, if this is in the principal's office, that maybe is not the place, but a common area out there. And I think, it shows people who do enter the teaching workforce in the common areas that a reminder that they do have rights, and it is a very tough job. And I think you nailed it at the end there, Senator, when it's the issue of not just getting people to become teachers, but sticking around. We know that people, after a couple years, leave. And so whatever we can do to make it a better profession, not only this, but paying them adequately and dealing with class sizes and so forth, I think that's what we're all about. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further comment? Yes.
Yeah, I agree, obviously, that it's not going to do a whole lot in terms of putting it in the principal's office, and I'm not even sure if it's going to do a whole lot in giving it to individuals. I mean, we often see a Bill of Rights that's on a wall somewhere and people kind of see it. I would hope that the Bill of Rights would not be used as an excuse for not doing other things. In other words, well, I didn't do this because according to the Bill of Rights I should have had 3 meetings and only had 1. That it's somehow or another the role of the teacher in relationship to the student is not as clear in the Bill of Rights as stated here as it should be. But I understand that I don't see anything in here that's offensive. I just don't know what it would do in the end. And as you said, it would keep people from feeling maybe that they're not wanted. I hope that they wouldn't feel that they're not wanted because the principal didn't do something for them that they thought should have happened, or the fact that they didn't have input into the curriculum. I think some of these things could be with a person who's very litigious to be a picker. Well, I didn't I didn't have input into the curriculum, so therefore I don't have to implement the curriculum. Yeah. I didn't get. I have the freedom to teach what I think is best for students, regardless of what you folks say. I mean, these are the kinds of things that if you had somebody who was looking for some reason, this would become what they would do, and so it become more. I think it could be where it could do a lot to help teachers. In terms of these are things that we're supposed to do for you. It could also become the reason why people don't do what they're supposed to do, because they're looking at the very fine lines of I didn't get this and I didn't get this book and I didn't get that and I didn't get this because I have these Bill of Rights, and as a result of that, we find ourselves not doing what we should do for students. So I'm kind of concerned about that, but I'm not sure if it'll do a whole lot. Hopefully, it won't do a lot of harm in terms of keeping people from doing what they're supposed to do because they now have this Bill of Rights.
Any further comment? Seeing no further comment, you may close.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And again, if there is significant change, I would love to bring it back to the committee so we could have another opportunity to look at it. So with that, Mr. Chair, I would like...
one question. You plan to bring it back?
No. If there's significant changes to it, I would love to bring it back to you so you would take another look at it so you won't think that I'm trying to...
Okay. So is it...
That's right.
Is it coming back?
Well,
no, it's not coming back.
I hope not.
I'm just trying to figure out
but
if it's
let me
finished or not.
let me qualify why. Let me explain why he said that is because there was some concern presented up here that he was going to amend it, and how significant those amendments are, I don't know, but it could lead.
The chair said if it's significant, we're going to bring it back, and I'm good with that.
So that's what I was sharing with him. That we may want to hear it again if there's huge policy changes here.
Yeah.
I think we have a duty to provide oversight with regard to that. So that's why I made that comment, and that's why he made that comment.
Yeah.
So with that, call the roll.
Can I make some comments here? Since we're talking about maybe making some significant changes and the bill might come back, and I thought this was the last policy stop for discussions, but I just want to add in or chime in the discussion. A lot of the points I wanted to make have already been discussed by my colleagues here. So if the intent is to inform the teachers of the rights that they have, I'm okay with that, but have you considered making these information available through online, rather than the state mandate and incurring the cost? CTA does a good job of informing the teachers, the members, with all the information in the newsletter that you provide. I don't know if your newsletter is also available online. Have you considered putting this entire Teacher's Bill of Rights and then put it on your web newsletter? If you're so concerned about teachers not seeing what their rights are, therefore asking to post these Bill of Rights in a conspicuous places, why don't you make it available in all the newsletters that you send out and put a link on that, especially if it's online newsletter, they would be able to click on that, and then anytime they want, they can review it, and then they can see what their rights are. I wonder if that's, to me, it's cost-saving way of informing all of the teachers and letting them know what their rights are. Again, my concern is, while I agree with what you're trying to do, you do state that you are trying to address the teacher shortage crisis. I'm not sure if this bill does that. So while I understand what you're trying to do and I appreciate the efforts, I just don't think this is addressing the point that you are trying to get. And I don't think this posting the Bill of Rights, even if you do it everywhere, I don't think this is going to achieve what you are trying to do. So I have a problem with that, and I just wanted to throw that out there for your consideration and make it available online.
Yes.
And so we don't have to incur state costs to do it.
The intent of the bill is to have the Department of Education have these 10 rights on the website, and that the principal will be able to download it, print it out, and post it. That way it saves money instead of having it on a poster or anything like that. So I like what you're saying.
Okay, with that, seeing no further comment from the committee, please call the roll. I thought we don't have I thought Mr. Santiago seconded. Moved and seconded.
The motion is due pass to appropriation. O'Donnell?
Aye.
O'Donnell, aye. Olson?
Not voting.
Olson not voting. Kim? No. Kim, no. McCarty?
Aye.
McCarty, aye. Santiago? Aye. Santiago, aye. Thurman? Weber? Weber not voting. It only has 3 votes.
The bill is on call. It has 3 votes.
Thank you.